All right, guys, so here is your little mini lesson for social studies today. We are going to be reading, well, obviously complete your check-in. That's the first thing listed. Then you're going to be reading the Newsela article, which is here. I did this because a lot of you cannot access Clever. Sometimes it's a little weird. So I posted the actual article in a Google Doc for all of you with the questions already in there. So you don't have to go searching in Clever. Makes it a lot easier for you. So you're going to watch a video too that I'm doing now, obviously, and then click turn in when all the answers are completed. A lot of you are not answering all the questions, but you're getting lower grades because of that. So I need you to answer all the questions, even if you're guessing for some of them, at least try. There's a lot of low grades, especially in social studies, because you're only completing half the work, which is not good. All right, so here's your, I copied this right from Newsela, so you don't need to go there. The name of the article is Do Your Part, Propaganda Posters of World War I at Home and Abroad. So as you can see, here is a few propaganda posters. The reason why I highlighted this in blue is because you're going to have to use this picture for one of the questions, so that's why I did that. So you'll see that when we get to it. So I'm going to be reading this, and then we're going to get into the questions after that. So the introduction. During World War I, posters were the most important way governments communicated to the public. Posters were used to inspire people. They informed the public. Most often, posters tried to persuade. They are a valuable historical resource. They show us many points of view of the war. World War I and the role of the poster. World War I began as a conflict between two groups of empires, the Allies and the Central Powers, which we already know. France, the United Kingdom, and Russia made the Allies. The Central Powers consisted of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. In 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife, Sophie, were assassinated. He was next in line to be the King of Austria-Hungary. His murder started the war. Italy joined the Allies in 1915. Later in 1917, the United States entered the war. It joined the Allies as well. The war ended with a ceasefire at 11 a.m. on November 11, 1918. The poster was a major communication tool during the war. All countries in the conflict used posters widely. The posters were used to achieve many different things. Although made in different countries, poster designs used common symbols. Their messages had a common purpose. Enlistment and recruitment posters. Many posters were for recruitment. They urged men to join the armed forces. Early in the war, many British posters had this message. The British military was all volunteer at the time. In 1916, joining the military became required. Women aren't asked to join the military. They were urged to serve through relief organizations. The YWCA and the Red Cross are two examples of these. The Women's Land Army was another way women could serve. It was a British organization. Women worked the land for farmers who were away in the military. A Women's Land Army was also organized later in the United States. Posters for the war bonds. France, Germany, and Austria-Hungary required that men join the army, so recruiting posters weren't needed. Instead, posters urged people to buy war bonds. These bonds raised money for the war. Such posters often use coin images as symbols. For example, posters might show coins changing into bullets. Posters dealing with food issues, and here's one here. I also have this highlighted for you because you're going to have to use this one in the question. Europe suffered food shortages during the war. As a result, not wasting food became important. Posters urged Americans to change their eating habits. The government needed to ship food to soldiers and allies. Posters suggested eating no meat or wheat once a week. People were told they should eat more corn and fish. Families should plant vegetable gardens called victory gardens. In Great Britain, the government collected eggs to help wounded soldiers recover. National symbols. Many posters use symbolism. Uncle Sam appeared often as a symbol for the United States. He wore American flag-themed clothing. John Bull represented Britain. He wore clothing that looked like the British flag. France was represented by Mary Anne, the French revolutionary. Posters produced by the Allies portrayed Germany negatively. It appeared often as a big man called Hun. He was often shown wearing a spiked helmet. The poster artists. Well-known poster artists joined the war effort. This was true in most of the countries involved. British posters artists were normally unknown, but famous artists also contributed. Frank Bowen, John Hassell, and Gerald Spencer Price are three examples. In the U.S., artists were encouraged to submit their work. Joseph Pennell was one of them. One of his designs showed New York City in flames from an air attack. Such an attack was unlikely. Aircraft of the day could not cross the Atlantic Ocean. Still, the poster was haunting. James Montgomery Flagg's design of I Want You for U.S. Army is now famous. It is probably the best-known war recruiting poster ever. Both sides of the conflict made similar posters. Okay, so here are your questions. So it says highlight or make bold the answer to each question. So what you can do is you can either highlight it and put it in a different color. I would say like maybe yellow, whatever you want to do, or Control B makes it bold. So whatever you want to do when it comes to answering the questions, either highlight or bold it. So the question number 1 says, what information will the reader find in the section World War I and the role of the poster? So you're going to go up to World War I and the role of the poster. You're going to go here. It's only only 2 paragraphs because this is a continuation. So you're going to go up, you're going to read this part again, and you're going to figure out what the answer is to that question. So that's number 1. Number 2, if readers are looking for information on who created famous war posters, which section should you read? So basically you're saying who created famous war posters. You're going to look and see. I would actually use the headlines here, which are these. So use those to help you figure out which one's going to be about the designers, the artists of the war posters, and then answer that here. Okay, like I said, you're going to have image 1 is going to be the blue one. That's the first one. So how does image 1 help the reader understand how posters helped World War I? So you're going to look at the poster, which is in blue, it's up here, and answer the question. For the next one, you're going to look at image 4. So what does image 4 show about posters? Again, you're going to scroll up. You're going to go to image 4 and read it, look at it, and determine what does it show and answer the question. Your writing prompt, you're going to have a couple of sentences, 2 to 3 sentences for this. You're going to say, why did people create propaganda posters for World War I? Make sure you answer it in at least 2 to 3 sentences in order to receive credit. So you are going to answer that question, why did they create them? They gave you plenty of reasons why they created them, especially in the first few sections of the article, especially in here. Here, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why they created them. So make sure you go into detail on the writing prompt. Again, if you have any questions, please message me on Google Classroom or Remind. Everything has to be filled out. I don't want to see one-word answers in here. I want to see full, detailed answers. Like, why did people create propaganda posters? I would say people created propaganda posters because, and then answer the question. And then maybe just like you did in your English, the English Padlet, maybe you want to put a list of reasons why, or maybe give a quote and textual evidence from the article. All right, so I will see you guys or talk to you guys later. Have a great day.